When 25 LSU students signed up for the Olympics project, they knew they had signed up for an experience of a lifetime. However, after spending a few days learning the lay of the land, they realized that the Olympics project was even bigger and better than they had imagined.
First question, why are you here?
So with the Olympics project, it was kind of something at first that I saw at the Manship Sports Summit way back in the fall semester of 23. And I hadn't really thought much about it at first. I remember when I was walking through after a class, there wasn't many people sitting out there like showing interest for it. And then my mom, she had kind of egged on, hey, you should try and apply this. I'm like, yeah, well, sure, I'll get to it. And then she kept getting on me about it. And I was like, okay, I'll apply. So I applied. You needed a letter of recommendation, and I got my letter of recommendation 2 hours before the deadline.
After a grueling application process consisting of a resume, questionnaire, and a letter of recommendation, 2 Manship professors and the dean chose 25 students from all areas of Manship to represent LSU in Paris, France.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background? What do you study?
Yeah, I'm
What do
Cade
you
Williams.
do?
I'm Cade Williams. I am from Ruston, Louisiana. I am a self-described creative, but in a more technical sense, I am a radio personality station manager. I am a audio director and editor. I am on the podcasting team here at the Olympics Project. I'm the director of it. And I am also a comedian and a writer and a director, all these things. I just like to make things.
Humble as well.
Yeah, very much so. I'm actually awesome and hot. Oh my God, I'm so hot.
With the variety of motives and personalities on the trip, Dean Bissell and her colleagues weren't sure how the group would mesh, but thought, what better place than the Olympics to bring this group together?
And just sports is one thing that's always been able to unify a nation and the people. You look at after 9/11, how the Mets and the Braves had a game in New York City, and Mike Piazza has to go ahead home run in the series, and the stadium goes delirious. You look at the 2001 World Series, 9/11. It's just a big turning point for America. That baseball season, especially, George Bush throws out the first pitch at a Yankee game for the World Series. If there's anything to bring a country together, that's pretty much it. And sports is a way of bringing people together, regardless of your team or your country or your fan, the team you're a fan of. Sports are able to bring people together in a way like no other, because we can all rally around the cause of our team and the love of the game.
You're gonna hold it? What are you gonna say? Come on, we gotta do it loud. You ready? 1, 2, 3. It's just easy, bro. Tiger. Come on. All the time. Hold it up. You gotta hold the mic, Finn. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Go Tiger!
While in France, students had the opportunity to attend up to 4 events: France versus USA men's soccer, France versus Colombia women's soccer, beach volleyball, and tennis.
What are we up to, Ava? What are we doing?
So today we're watching beach volleyball. Right now we're watching France versus Germany, where France is getting absolutely obliterated. But vibes are high. I had my coffee, I had my crepes, so
Where are we at right now?
We're at beach volleyball in front of the Olympics in Paris, France. That's all I'm saying. Vibes are high. Not much can go wrong. I just wish that there was a little bit of a cloud over the sun.
Are you happy to be in Paris?
You went to beach volleyball,
I
correct?
did go to beach volleyball.
What were your thoughts? How was that for you?
That was awesome. I saw 3 matches, and I thought that all 3 matches were fantastic. It was especially cool to see the France v Germany match because there were so many French fans there, and to see them get so excited and say the same chants they would say for all their other teams like soccer and stuff like that, and apply those to beach volleyball, a less popular sport, was just so culturally feel significant of the French people bringing that same energy and spirit to less popular sports. Also the venue itself, super sick, beautiful scenery. Of course, you got the Eiffel Tower right there, and you can see all the buildings that go along that little road right there in the background and everything. But they did a great job with the stadium itself. That's something that I've been looking into for my project. It's a temporary stadium. and I was looking into how it was built, and it's all just like metal pipes on the inside interior that are just like you can disjoint them from each other. But whenever you're in the stadium itself, it looks so professional, and you can't even tell that it's a temporary setup. And so I was super impressed with all of that. It was an electric atmosphere. I felt like I was actually at the beach and everything. They did such a good job with that. So just like 10 out of 10, full experience. I've always loved volleyball. I watched my high school team play a whole lot. And so I just love the sport, and I love the energy there.
Because most of the students had a personal connection with sports, it made attending the games all the more special and allowed them to connect with the Olympics on a more personal level.
I played baseball growing up. My first sport I actually played was soccer, or football as I call it, in the Olympics, ironically enough. So I played that for 1 year. I was a goalie, and I never played soccer after that. So that's kind of led to my love of baseball. It was my grandfather who kind of had that impact on me with baseball. And I played growing up, but I was never really into it that much. And then he passed away, and that really just like it's like the spirit of the love of the game that he had when he passed away kind of came upon me and stuff like that. So that's kind of how that worked out for me. So I mean, baseball is my favorite sport. I played it growing up, and then I played up through high school. I threw shot put and disc in high school as well. Played a little football in middle school. That wasn't for me. Kind of regret not finishing it out with football, but sports have always just been a part of my life, and it's something that you can always talk to somebody about. You can always have a conversation with someone about sports. And if there's a disconnect, you may not seem like there's something in common. If you can talk to someone about sports, you can talk to them about anything.
Students not only attended the study abroad program to get a better understanding of themselves and each other, but to help further their careers in whatever way possible.
What personal goals did you have for yourself for the trip, and how did that come into fruition?
I think like career-wise, I really came onto this trip just wanting to kind of like make a statement. Like I would really want to go to law school, work within NIL, and really my main goal in life is to just like represent women in any way possible. So whether that be furthering them in the sports field or anything like that. So that's kind of what I've based my personal project around. So that's what I came into this trip most excited about.
Everyone on the trip had a different reason for attending, but in the end, the students banded together to reach their common goal: success.
Why are you
The
at
third.
the Olympics project?
I'm here to make a name for myself. I don't really feel like I've had much ground or a foundation to stand on, and I wanted to get here to prove that, I'm more than just whatever degree I end up getting, or, I wanted to make a name for myself, to make something that was completely made by me. Although I had help in getting here, most of the burden was on me to get this done, like setting up the documentary, creating the website, applying. Most of that was entirely on my own. I wanted to prove to myself that I didn't need to doubt myself anymore, and that I can actually do something pretty big if I set my mind to it. It just takes a little hard work.
Although the Manship professors were present to guide the students in the right direction, they had faith that the 25 applicants they had selected to represent LSU would take the reins and create content worthy of one day being in a portfolio.
The Olympics project gives me the opportunity, gives anyone that's here the opportunity to kind of show what they're capable of when they're out on their own. We're able to be here and spread our wings with limited supervision or limited chaperoning, or from that, the professors, Dean Bissell, Dr. Sanders, and Professor Sabity, let us go on our own. We're doing it now, and we're gonna have to go out, and guess what? We gotta figure it out. And so that's what we're out here to do. We're out here to figure it out. And I think I'm gonna be able to really use this time to really be able to grow on the fly and to be able to pump out stories, bang, bang, bang. I'm out here, I'm doing a lot of pieces in 1 week. So I got a lot of work to do, and not a lot of time to do it. And if that's gonna help me prepare for the real world, that's how it is out there. So we got the gang here. We're going to grab
LD times 2.
We're going to get coffee and then go explore some more of Lyon.
Maybe some crepes.
Maybe some crepes. We've got them back there. We got them up there. And we're gonna go get some, she's making fun of my accent back there. And we're just gonna go grab some grub and some coffee.
Students were given an itinerary to prepare for the trip, but most days they had to navigate and coordinate within themselves and the group to figure out what comes next. For better or worse, expectations weren't always the reality.
I came into this trip with a lot of expectations and everything, but it didn't really set in that we were at the Olympics until we walked into the venue and saw both teams and they played the national anthem, that I was like, oh my gosh, we're at the Olympics. So I just feel like my biggest takeaway from this is that if you want something to happen, you can make it happen. And I knew that I wanted this to happen. I mean, I know that whenever the whole application process, that was a lot as well, but I didn't hear back for 4 months, and I kept emailing Dean Bissell. She was probably so annoyed with me, but I just knew that I wanted this so bad. And so I'm really proud of myself that I did everything in my power to actually make that happen.
Each and every student had their own story of how they got onto the Olympics project and why they were there. But there was a common denominator beneath every story. No one would have been there without the love and support of family and friends.
How have your relationships with friends and family influenced your journey to this point?
Oh, okay. So relationships with friends and family, they are the whole reason why I'm doing this trip. I mentioned in my interview with the news, about me doing this for the kids in my community. Everything I do is basically for my family. They're always in the back of my mind for choices I make, in trying to make a better lives for me and them, I think losing my dad at 5 years old, he was killed actually in the same community that I was just talking about. Whew, don't want to get emotional or anything. I always talk about how, that's kind of what makes me who I am and why I go so hard. He definitely inspires a lot of stuff that I do.
I mean, throughout this trip so far, I've kind of been able to come to the realization that there's just so much out there. I mean, I knew that before. It's funny when people ask me, oh, do you want to go back to New Jersey to go work for your job? And for me, I always say, I'd love to go back and work in New York. Because I got family there, I grew up there, my teams are there, the beach is there, that's where the most money is. But the world is too big to just stay in one spot. And so that's part of the reason why I'm at LSU to begin with, because I wanted to explore other parts of the country. And guess what? There's more than just the United States. There's so many other places. And this trip's kind of helped me realize that it's a beautiful world out there. And we're just dust in the wind for it, just grains of sand in the whole thing. So, yeah.
After spending 2 weeks in France, learning more about themselves, each other, and the world around them, it's safe to say that the 25 students that left their hometowns to attend the 2024 Olympics are not the same students returning. With a newfound appreciation for the world around them, the students on the Olympics project hope to share their experiences with the rest of LSU and inspire others to do the same.